Hello and welcome to the LS for Life channel. Today I'm doing a beginner's video for those who received or purchased an adapter. This video is going to be divided in two parts. First part is if you are a person who received an adapter that it is already set and configured within the 11 table tennis VR game. There are many other games that you may have the ability of using an adapter, but those games at the moment, some of them I have not tested or have them to tell you exactly what the difference may be. And the ones I have tested, for example, 10 billion table tennis, they are not that intuitive in how you go with the process of selecting an adapter and automatically having all the settings available to you, and you can immediately go and play. Some games as 10 billion table tennis, you have to manually do calibrations in order to accomplish a proper grip and angle and create good tracking. This video for the moment will focus in the 11 table tennis game, since it has many features that made this so easy for any person. So the first part of this video, as I mentioned, is for a person who has an adapter that is already part of the game. So let's proceed to show you how can you identify that the adapter is part of the game, outside of the fact that when you purchase the adapter or when somebody give you this adapter, they will tell you it is 11 table tennis ready or it is already configured to be used within the game. The first thing to do to find that out, or if you want to know what adapter you should purchase because it's already in the game, the one thing you have to do is click on your X button on the controller if you are within the game. At that time, see the pointer as it moves in the screen. I will be highlighting where you need to go. You click here, you see the pointer, and when I'm looking, paddles, by pressing the trigger button, that is the button that will be like the firing trigger up again. Next, you will get this window. In this window, each one of these pictures is the name that you had gave to a paddle setting. For example, I call this LS speed. The reason why I call it LS speed is because I just gave it my initials, and the name is speed because all the rubber settings are very high. This particular one here that is not highlighted, you can tell that this one says active. This is the one that is in use with this paddle. This one is not in use, neither is this one, but the name on it, as you can see, I have a mixed name, mixed rubber 2 and mixed rubber. What this means in my case is that one side, which is the forehand rubber, may have different setting than the backhand rubber. That's all it is. Now, in order for you to find out more within this screen, we got the rubber setting, the position setting, and the grip setting. I will give you this information now so that you can be familiar. In rubber setting, these are the different names for different rubber that you give a name to a particular setting. For example, this is what I have highlighted in the paddle that is being used. You can tell that by this little icon and this little icon that the active paddle is using this settings for these two rubber. As you can see, I called it forehand and backhand, and if I click on it, the setting will show up here. This you can tweak as you want, and then you can save it because the save message will come up over here. The same thing with the next rubber. Click on there, you see how it's highlighted, and these are the settings for that color or that position, which is the backhand. With that being said, moving to the next step is the position. This position is where you will see or you go to be able to select what is available in the game already configured. For example, this one here is highlighted, as you can tell, and it has the name LS Mini. The icon that you see here is what it is in the game that I can select that will give me the settings so I can use the adapter that look just as this one in the picture. Now, let me clarify. You can use any picture in the game as long as the orientation that the controller is on the adapter is the same. Just because this picture may look different than your adapter, but if the orientation of the controller, the way it is on the adapter is the same, you can use that particular settings. You may sometimes need to adjust that a little bit. If you select this, you'll be switching to the default setting, which is just using the controller. And if you would have used something like this, it's because you are selecting a style for C pen. Now, again, we have these three names here, but I got other paddles created, and that's why you see 1, 2, 3. If I go to number 2, I have more alternative selection that I can switch to. Going back to the first one, in here you see what it says new position. So new position, this is how you initiate the selection of your adapter. Okay, I will go through an example so that you can see the process. Again, you receive an adapter that is already to be used within the game, but you still need to make that selection. The first step is to go to paddle. The second step is to select position. When you are within position, you will have to move your laser pointer to different adapters that you have not selected at the moment, just so that this window that you see here can show up. Once you see this window show up, you have the ability of doing several things. One will be deleting that, editing, or copy it. Most of the time, I don't believe you can delete something that you have selected. You can delete something that you are not using, but the one that you currently selected, I don't think you can delete. With that being said, I will try to click this button and prove that this is correct. I'm clicking the trigger button and I'm clicking the delete, and this particular setting is not going away. However, if I click any of my other paddle that I have here and I click that delete button, those paddle will disappear because they are not in use. Now let's go and proceed with the how to select or how to identify that your adapter is part of the game. We're gonna say new position. When the new position comes up, this instruction here can walk you through what you need to do in order to select your paddle. The very first thing I will recommend for you to do is to give it a name. That way, that name is the position that you are selecting or the paddle adapter name that you have. That's normally what I do. So you just click edit. The keyboard will show up, and in my case, I backspace and delete everything in there. And then I type the name of the adapter that it is in my hand. In this case, this is obviously an adapter that has the particular orientation. This paddle in my hand has already been calibrated. So it is already calibrated and therefore this is why you see the controller in a way that looks centered in the paddle. So let's call this for testing LS dash test. So you see the name here. Now this is the name that you will recognize your adapter setting after you complete this process. The next thing to do is to click on these squares that you see here, and you're gonna see all the different choices or adapter that you can use that are already programmed in the game. So as you scroll down, you're gonna see all the adapter that are presently part of the game. You can go and buy any of this adapter and they will be already calibrated. So in this case, respecting everybody else adapter, I will just select one of my own adapter, which is, for example, in my scenario, this one here that is called LEV2, and this will be now the current selection. And I will go here and say okay, backspace, and you can see how the picture changed. Now this is the orientation that my controller will be in here. Now the next thing you'll have to do is save and proceed. In this case, once you set save, you will have all the calibrations done on your adapter that is in your hand. You can select to flip or reverse the grip. By flipping, you just flip in the color, like you're gonna make the red your forehand, or you're gonna make the forehand black rubber. If you set reverse grip, your hand gonna switch to maybe what I will say is a left-hander position, or in this case a right-handed position. I will not save this since I don't need to change my orientation, but at this point you will say save, and this name will show as part of the paddle position that you can select. So going back, you will find your name in one of these buttons here as part of the configuration that you have selected. With all this being done, you are ready to play. You can just go back out of here and select the option, for example, obviously ball machine, start, and your calibration should be working perfectly based on what the developer of the adapter did. So basically this is what tracking means, that your motions and your technique will transfer into the game. So this is a calibrated adapter within that is part of the game. This will complete part 1 of this video. Again, the purpose was to show you how you find the adapter that you can purchase because they are part of the game, and also how to select that particular adapter. As well, I'll show you how you can select the rubber of that adapter that you already selected and change the configuration by going to any of this rubber setting as long as they're the one that your adapter is using. When you come here to grip, this is specifically for people who are choosing their dominant hand, like left hand. You can see how the paddle switched to my left hand, and at that time you'll have to switch the reverse grip by coming to the position here. Select the paddle that you have and say edit, and then you're going to have to select reverse grip, and then that will, you know, reflect the hand that you are using. Okay, so we're going to go back to grip and switch to my right hand, and my adapter or my paddle in the game is switched back over here. Obviously, this selection shake hand on pinhole is when you are using the pinhole adapter, which normally you hold down this way. So your hand will now, instead, shake hand is this, but if you click pinhole, your finger change and your hand change, and you have to change the way you hold your adapter. Since my adapter is oriented in a way that I can basically use it also as a C-pen, I basically just change my hand position, and the adapter is now on this orientation, and I can probably use it on this orientation as well, even though it's not maximized for this tracking in this position. But let's attempt it just to give you an example. You can do some things with it, but I have an adapter specifically made to be used as pinhole. Now, other people that design adapter may not have the same orientation, which obviously we respect each other, hopefully, and everybody stay to what they have done and have proved to be what worked for them. But if you're using one of my adapters, one of LS for Light adapter, you have this advantage where a shake hand adapter can basically be used as a pinhole because of the way that it's built, and all you need to do is to hold the adapter as a C-pen and reverse the grip. Sorry. Go back to paddle, go to grip, change back to shake hand, and grab the adapter as a shake hand adapter, and that's it. Again, this complete part 1 of this video.